Paulus, and I am very excited to welcome you today to the Homebodies Fitness Show. My guest today is Jonas Joseph.
We're starting over. Gina, can you look at the camera? Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Gina Paulus, and I am excited to welcome you to the Homebodies Fitness Show. My guest today is Jonas Joseph. Wow, pretty snazzy entry there. Hey Jonas, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good?
How about
Feeling
yourself?
Good? I'm great.
Feeling excellent. Those 10 Red Bulls definitely helped me out.
Oh man, how do you feel about working out with me today? Have you been looking forward to it all week?
Yeah, I've actually been practicing.
Oh.
Getting my squats down, working on the biceps, you know.
I have never worked out with Jonas before, so this should be quite an adventure. We will be doing some pretty fancy maneuvers today, so please check with your doctor before attempting any of these moves at home. Be sure to stay tuned because after the workout, we will learn how to balance socializing with getting lean. You don't know anything about socializing though, right?
Maybe.
Okay, well we'll have to save that for later on. So I brought the weight we're gonna use today.
Yes, I can now.
Think you're gonna be able to handle that?
I don't know. I mean, you must have mistaken me for your husband.
Maybe we can use the big boy weight then. Let me put that down and we'll get down to business here. So the first one we're going to do is a core move. It's called plank hold with row. So I'm going to have Jonas go right on his elbows and his feet and start out in that plank right on the ground. So he's on his elbows and he's up on his feet too, so the knees are up. Now what we're going to do is add a little twist to this basic move. He's going to grab the band and he's going to pull that about 10 times on one arm and then 10 times on the other arm. Now I need you to concentrate. You could get injured if you clown around like this. Now do you need a break between sides? Or you're going to go right for the full enchilada.
Right for the mother load.
All right. Try to press your low back up a little bit more, Jonas. Good, just like that.
Oh, feel the burn.
Feel the burn. And last one.
Let's
Good
get this
work.
down.
All right, and he also didn't release the band and give me that slingshot action, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. So that one is good for your stomach, which is obviously a nice area to work. Now, I heard that you had a little bit of a knee problem before when you did track.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Is that something that you're worried about now, or is
No.
it really like good?
Not at all.
Okay.
Only when I'm jumping hurdles.
All right, so we're not planning on doing any hurdles today, but if you did have a knee concern, when you hold that plank, it actually strengthens the muscles around the knee and it can help kind of protect that. So I don't know if you ever want to get back into it one day. This might be a good move for you to do. So we're going to go next to a move called the Spider-Man push-up. So what I'm trying to do with this workout, because Jonas is so fit and in shape, we're trying to not just give you guys the basic push-up, but give some different variations to kind of up the ante a little bit. So I'll show you how that one goes. what we're gonna do is start in a regular push-up shape and then move an arm and a foot, and then other side. Think you can handle it?
See what I can do.
All right. So you always want to do move left, move the left leg, the left arm, right leg, right arm. Yep, push up. Nice. And then other side. Good. Good job. Let's just do one more on each side. Okay. And why don't you do that one more time? So start back at the other side. I'm gonna make you walk around, yeah.
Really?
Get some extra cardio in there for you.
Switch it up.
Switch it up. Good. Now really try to get your hips down too. So your hips and good. See the difference?
Definitely.
One more on each side.
Should go out for gymnastics.
Yeah. Maybe we can head up the gymnastics club after this. You'll be all warmed up for it, you know? I heard that you want to master the backflip.
Definitely.
Is that true?
On the bucket list.
Okay.
Gotta work on my
I would
flexibility.
probably try to do that sooner rather than later. It can be difficult once you get to be as old as I am to learn new things, so.
No, nonsense. I'm superhuman.
All right, so we're gonna do the ab wheel next. This is another one that's good for your core. So we're kind of getting all the core stuff done in the beginning. So you can go on your knees. And he actually has just tried this for the first time just a few minutes ago, so we're gonna have to work a little bit on the form. But I'm just gonna have him show me his best attempt and then I'll help him out a little bit. Nice. So the only thing I'm gonna say to you, you can actually stop for a second, and I just wanna show you with your hip position. So when you're up like this, or if your hips are flat down, so you kinda wanna push those hips low to the ground and not let your butt stick up in the air. So think of it as your hips having to touch the ground. That's better. Nice. Good. All right, so let's just do another 3 or 4 more of those guys. Good job. And this one gets the arms, it gets the stomach. The ab wheel is actually a pretty inexpensive device. Some of the gyms will have them, but I think it's a worthwhile thing to purchase for your home gym. I think this was $5, maybe $10, and it basically works your abs like nothing else. If you were to do 15 of these every single day, you would have perfect abs for the rest of your life. Pretty sweet deal, I think. So we are gonna go to one for the glutes next. So I'm gonna show you guys how that one works. You're on your back, and then you're just gonna push through your heels and lift up and then down. The only catch to this is that this barbell here is going to be right across your hips. Now I'm not demonstrating with the barbell today because I'm trying to rehab a little back problem that I have, but Jonas is nice and healthy, so he can show us the full move with the barbell on his hips too. So go ahead and lie on your back first. Now the only tricky thing can be setting up the barbell. So I'm gonna help him out by bringing it over to him. Okay, so why don't you just grab that and just place it right across your lap, right on the bottom, right where your seatbelt would go. You wear your seatbelt, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and push through your feet and lift your hips up. Now the barbell stays right on the same spot, so the seatbelt thing stays where it should be. I can tell that he doesn't probably use his seatbelt every single time. We'll talk about that afterwards. Good. Nice. So just go ahead with that. You can do about 10 of those. And this is really working the hamstrings, it's working the glutes. It does work a little bit the core also, and the low back. He could probably handle a heavier weight, but I think this is the first time that he's done this one, so I wanted to just kind of ease him into it gradually. And this one is good for developing those buns of steel that all the ladies really enjoy. So now I'm not going to take that from you. You got to figure out how to get rid of it by yourself. I'd recommend the overhead dump. Oh, okay. What are you going to do? All right, we'll give him like 30 seconds to figure this out. Yikes. Okay. So I'll show you guys the way I usually do it. I probably should have given him a few hints, but I think I wanted to see him struggle a little bit. So I usually just sit and I just kind of put it on me this way. And then when I take it off of me, same thing. The other thing you can do is you can put your back against a bench. So like right here would work. So you can put your shoulders like this, and then you've got the barbell across here. And so then you can actually dip a little bit lower. But you would need like a full out exercise bench for that, which we don't really have here. So we're just making do and doing it on the floor. The other thing you can use too is a Smith machine. Have you ever used a Smith machine?
Yes, I believe so.
The machine with the hooks. So it's like a squat bar, but it's got the hooks on the side.
Yep, definitely.
So that one, because that way, if you think about it, you can hook the hooks on you so you can get out of it without having to awkwardly like throw it off you, like you just had to do. Okay.
So there's
Noted. Yeah. All right, so we are gonna continue with the leg theme at this point. So we're gonna go into the one arm overhead walking lunge. So what you do for this one, we're actually gonna have him first try it without the weight, but ultimately I would like him to use a weight. So you've got one arm up, you're gonna step, bend, together, step, together, like that. And for this one, you really want the shoulder shrugged up by the ear, the arm is straight. And if he looks good with that, we'll go ahead and give him a dumbbell to try. So go ahead and do about 3 or 4 on your right arm up, walking lunges, so step. Good? Yep, and just kind of lightly tap your knee to the floor. You don't have to slam it down, but you do want to get as close as you can to that floor. Nice. Good. Okay, you can walk back to the end of the mat and let's try the left arm up. So the only thing with this, Jonas, is make sure that it's like a march, so you want to keep moving forward. So watch, I step here and I never go back.
Okay,
so it's almost like a continuous steps.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. And then step, so you're doing all the left leg?
Ooh.
Yeah, so I want you doing it alternating. Good, we're on the right track now.
Boom.
Good job. Okay, I think we can do the weight.
Let's go.
So this is, I think this is a 12-pounder, so you are gonna put that up in like that. Okay.
This is gonna be tough.
Cue the Rocky music.
Dun, 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 dun.
Get that arm closer to your ear, good. All right, now you can come on back and we'll do the other arm. So in this one, I usually do half of the lunges, one arm, and then the other half, the second arm, before resting. Nice. So there's usually the second arm that people do. That's gonna be their weaker arm, a little bit awkward. But once you start doing that, you're gonna be good. So that was, you feel that, right? Yeah. So it's like the first arm was a little bit more natural, probably. Yeah. And so what that does too is when you have the weight on one side of your body, so you're like this, the other side of your core has to really work to keep you from tipping over. Now you obviously wouldn't tip over because that would be stupid, but it's happening kind of below your consciousness, so you don't really have to think about it, but what you'll start noticing is that your stomach does get more firmed up by doing some of these one-armed movements. So
don't hold my breath?
Well, you know, the breathing can be hard. When you're trying to learn something new, it's hard to actually remember how to breathe. Like, you basically don't start breathing again until you realize that you're suffocating yourself.
Wait a minute.
But most of these moves that we're trying to engage the core and keep the core tight is what you call 80-20 breathing, meaning that you fill your lungs with air before you start the set. Then you just take little sips of air in and out with just 20% of your lungs. So it's like a big inhale in, and at the end, you let it all out. If you're doing something pretty simple and basic, yeah, you can take one breath for each repetition. But a lot of people have a misconception you're supposed to take a full breath between every single thing. It's really not like that, because what happens when you let the air out of your lungs is your lungs don't have the stability and your abdominal area doesn't have the stability. Because if you think about it, if you fill your stomach with air, it's gonna be more kind of firm and just stable. Okay, so that is actually the safer way to do it. So you guys can keep that in mind when you're doing some of the core stuff. So the next one's a pretty fun one for me because I get to abuse him, which is cool. So it's called leg lift throws. Now, He's probably like, I don't understand what that is, but that's fine, I'm gonna teach it to you. This is one that it actually tends to make you wake up the next day and go, wow, what did I do? I feel this in my stomach, which you like that, right? You want to feel like you did something.
Definitely.
Okay, he's up for it. Okay, so Jonas, I'm gonna have you lie on your back. And you are gonna reach behind and grab a hold of my ankles.
Uh-oh.
All right, no, don't do anything funny with that. Just a little grip, okay? So go ahead and lift your legs up. Now I'm gonna have you drop your legs and bring them back up again. Good. Now can you do it without touching the floor?
Yep.
Is that hard?
Not at all.
Okay, you look like it's hard.
Do this in my sleep.
Are you sure that you're ready for the next level?
I'm fine.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push your legs to make them fall faster, okay? And then you gotta go, good.
Let's go.
Want me to push harder?
Yep.
Your legs are all slimy. I didn't sign up for this. Last two.
Somebody should give me karate chops in the stomach.
Good job. And he didn't even hold me that tight. A lot of people start pulling on my ankles and practically knocking me over, but he's polite and he doesn't want to hurt me. So that's good. I think you dropped something there. You might need those to run away if this gets too crazy. All right, so we're doing another kind of a leg one, but it's also getting into a little bit of kind of cardiovascular effect. I like to end my workouts with a little bit more of heart elevating to get a little bit more of the fat burning effect. So these are called mountain climbers, and they don't involve anything having to do with the mountain, so I don't really know where that name came from. What we're gonna do is switch, 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 switch. And you're gonna do approximately 5,000 of those.
Make it 10,000.
All right, 10,000, deal. Let's see, I think I'll make him do 30. Try to keep your head between your arms. Head between your arms, meaning look at your feet with your head.
Yep.
Good. Yep, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, head. 15, 16, 17, good. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Woo! How you doing?
Feeling great.
Yeah, you do. I think that Red Bull really helped you.
Is that a little secret? You must
Yeah.
tell anyone.
Okay, so we're gonna do another core with an arm next for to finish up with the strength training that we're doing here. So these are called planche push-ups. Again, I'm having Jonas show some of the little bit more advanced workout things. So regular push-ups are like this, and the planche push-up, we're actually gonna turn the fingers out a little bit to the side, which makes it easier on the wrist. Then we're gonna walk the feet and really lean forward like this. And then you're gonna do the push-up that way. So you can see the shoulder is in front of the wrist. Now, there's actually this yoga mat here, has a nice grid on it so that we can see where we're aligned. So Jonas, I'm gonna have you put your fingers right on this line so that you have a reference point as to where your fingertips are. And you can set up right in the push-up position. Okay, just show us a regular push-up first. Good, he has got great form in the push-ups. You can take a little break while I finish explaining this. So regular push-ups, you want your nose to go just beyond your fingertips on the mat. The planche ones, the nose should be about 3 to 4 inches in front of that. So your nose hit right here where your fingertips were. So for this one, we're gonna actually try to get the nose way up there. All right, so I'm gonna have you go back into the push-up position and turn your fingers out a little bit to take the pressure off the wrists. Turn them out, like kind of rotate them that way.
Oh.
The other way. Good. Okay, that's good. So you can get up in there, and then once you're in your push-up that feels regular to you, then you want to walk your feet forward about 3 inches. That's going to make your shoulders go forward too. You've got to let your shoulders lean forward. Good. Now go ahead and do the push-up that way, and you'll be shocked at how much different it feels. Ooh. Good. Make sure you squeeze your butt. Nice. And one more time. Good. So you do 5 of those, it's gonna do almost as much for you as doing probably 20 of the other kind. It's a pretty sweet deal. Sometimes you wanna just get in and out of the gym, you don't wanna stay there all day. You do something like that and that's really gonna, do some benefit for you there. So after doing all that strength training, we do need to stretch it out a little bit. So we're gonna kind of cool it down and then get into, well, just hang on. I wanna show you the way I want you to do it.
Oh,
Okay,
please.
so we're gonna do what I call the number 4 stretch next. So that we're going to, it's called number 4 because if you look from the top, it does look like the number 4 with the one knee out to the side and then the leg there, and then you wanna actually lean forward a little bit. So why don't you sit just like I was with the one leg out straight. And then the knee, yep, ankle over the knee, perfect. And then just see if you can lean forward just a tiny bit. So tiny bit is what I said. Okay, so I don't expect you to be able to reach your feet just yet because, you know, you can't be perfect at everything, right? Oh gosh, don't pull anything on. So switch to the other side. So that's gonna get his hips. I think that it's not happening right now, but there was a point when he was probably doing a lot of sitting at this particular job that he had, and the hips can get a little bit tight. So we wanna make sure that we stretch those out. So what you wanna do with the stretches at the end of the workout is you wanna hold the stretch. You do not wanna be back and forth bouncing. The back and forth thing is good for warming up for track, but like you said, we're not doing that now. So now you have to stretch like a normal person. So I want you to reach forward and hold it for me.
Can't relive my glory days.
But you can't have it both ways. If you told me you're not doing track, then you're not doing track. And on the stretching, you do want to take normal breaths. All right, you're good. You can come out of that one. All right, so next we're going to go to a calf stretch. And that one, you actually want to kneel down like this. And you want your knee to go out in front of your toe, and that's helping to stretch the calf, Achilles area. And you just sit like this. And then once you're done, you switch to the other side, like that. You can face me to do that one. So squat right down there, put the knee down. Yeah. So you want to work that heel towards the ground as best you can in the front. So it's going to look a little different on him, but this is, it's all right. Have you ever stretched before in your entire life?
Not at
so
all.
this is
Never.
like this is ground zero for him, day 1.
Hit the weights, go home.
So
feed the kids.
it's a very educational experience that he's having right now. Other side. So what you see with someone that's a little tighter is the hips are just higher off the ground. You're fine, there's no problem. It's just, you know, you can't get to what I'm doing by just pushing it. You have to like let time take its course. So
impatient.
yeah. So you feel that kind of in the back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The buttocks area.
Well, apparently he has a tight butt. Wonder how that happened. You can stand up out of that one. Okay, so now we're going to do one for the inner thigh area. So you're gonna stand like this. The hands go on the knees and the arms are straight, and you're trying to sink down this way. And then we're gonna twist one shoulder down that way, and then the other shoulder down that way. All the time I'm pushing my knees out with my arms.
It's like a warrior pose.
Yeah, it's
essentially.
pretty cool. So you can
Let's
stand
go.
right there. And yep, hands on the knees. Squat it down, arms straight, on the knees. So you gotta do both. I promise you it's possible. Do you know what your problem is? You're bending forward too much. So get your chest up. And yes. Now you can grab a hold. So you got, yeah, perfect. Now dip one shoulder down. Good. Try to avoid your knee collapsing in though. So see how it's going in? Good, perfect. And the other side. Straighten out that elbow. I think this one needs a little bit of practice.
See, I don't stretch. Leave me alone. God.
You didn't know stretching was part of it, did you?
Nope.
It's false advertising on my part.
It is.
Okay, so the last one is pretty simple, so I'm sure he'll be perfectly fine with this one. We're gonna do, it's called ragdoll. So what you do is you grab your elbows with your hands and you bend down, your knees are slightly bent, you let your head just kind of hang, and then you come up. So you can stand right on the mat and try that one too.
Okay, so you don't row?
What's that?
You don't roll like that?
You could,
other people
but
in the
you're
gym.
already doing it wrong. So can we put the feet together? Okay, so, and then grab the elbows, bend your knees a little bit, and then lean forward. But your feet have to be touching. Okay. Head is hanging down. Okay. Now, are you relaxing your head as much as you can? That's better. That little extra drop is what I'm looking for. That's great. So you can come up. Now his next question, go ahead and come up, Jonas. I'm not gonna make you hold that one the full time right now. So what he was asking was the swing side to side. That actually does come from yoga, and that is a pretty good thing to do. However, you have to know that if you hold a stretch still without moving for at least 20 seconds, it actually changes the length of the muscle. If you sway from side to side, it tends to help your nervous system sort of relax and let your body stretch more. But once you actually get to that relaxed state, you should then hold it. So I'm gonna say the swaying thing, fine, but then eventually you do still have to do the hold, okay? So why don't we try that one? And this one we can have the feet just a little bit apart for, and grab the elbows, and you're gonna come down. And what you wanna do is just gently shift your weight to your left foot, and then gently shift it to your right, and left, and right. So you're not thinking of it as swaying your upper body as much as you're thinking of it as a weight shift of the feet. And when you're ready to come up, you just roll yourself up and try to come up with your stomach engaged so that you don't hurt your back when you go in and out of it.
Okay.
All right, so it is good to do some stretching at the end, even if you just do 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
What about like 10 seconds?
10 seconds, it's better than nothing, I'll give you that. So it's not a thing a lot of guys like to do for some reason. I don't really know, do you know why guys don't like to stretch? Could you enlighten me?
Just lazy.
Laziness, okay.
Simple as that.
All right, well, once you ever get, like, if you ever do get injured or hurt in some way, you'll probably start to feel a little differently about it. So I hope that that never happens, okay?
Knock on wood.
All right, well, we did have a question sent into our Twitter, which is Homebodies Fit. The Twitter question is, I like to go out and have fun with my friends, but I don't want to ruin all my hard work at the gym. Please help me. So I thought you might be a good person to ask about this, considering that I know that you do sometimes go out with your friends.
Me, come
and
on.
you did just finish school, which we all know college kids like to do that kind of stuff. So do you kind of just say, look, it's like not every day that I go out, so I don't really care, or do you have a sort of a strategy for how to prevent yourself from getting a little pudgy?
Well, I put a extreme emphasis on my cardio. That's one thing I like to focus on. I mean, it's nice getting all muscular and bulky, but if you don't have the cardio to back that up, then it's kind of, you're just gonna be some big guy walking around like, hey.
Okay.
So with that, I like to, when I go out, I like to have fun, obviously, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Drink in moderation, responsibly, don't drink and drive. Disclaimer.
And wear your seatbelt.
Yes, wear your seatbelt, because I always do.
Right, of course.
But again, drink in moderation. And if you find yourself going to excess, what I like to do is punish myself the next day by waking up at like literally 6 o'clock in the morning, getting 2.5 miles out of the way. I know it seems like a lot. I'm a small dude. Don't judge me. But that's my regimen, and I stick strictly to it. So.
See, I wasn't aware that you ran. Is that what you usually do?
Only on Sundays. I mean, typically when I go to the gym, I like to loosen up on the treadmill for like 1 to 2 minutes, nothing too extreme.
Yep.
And then
So
have at it.
you feel like Sunday morning after you've gone out is when you run?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty interesting way to think about it. So you kind of figure you like burn it all off and then you start fresh. Like.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as far as the gym, I have seen you at the gym before, and it looks like you sort of run around a little bit between your strength training. Is that right? I feel like maybe it's just that you're going to get a drink and you just do it quickly.
Yeah.
But you just look like you're kind of like, you don't just sit on the bench in between the sets, right?
No way, because a lot of the time during sets, people will normally be sitting there texting, and
Yeah.
I like to work for
Brian.
gratification.
Yeah, my husband Brian will just sit on the machine and just like stare at people and just sit there. So that's not really helping your calorie burn when you sit there watching other people exercise. You know what I'm saying?
As I'm getting a drink of water, I like to people watch sometimes.
So do you have a certain number of drinks that you feel like you want to generally cut it at?
Usually what I like to do is when I lift, for example, if I have a back and bicep day, I'll usually throw in a third workout to kind of balance it out, like for example, like abs or something.
Okay.
So I'll do a set of each one, then I reward myself by getting a drink of water. So that way it maintains discipline, but
Gotcha.
also feels the need, which is hydrating your
So you
muscles.
sort of create a game for yourself in your mind to kind of get
Exactly.
you through it. That's pretty cool.
Have the warrior mentality.
So what do you do as far as like bar food and stuff? Do you usually eat that stuff, or
No way.
you just kind of eat at home and then, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I know that you like those rotisserie chickens.
Yes. A lot.
Could you tell us a little bit about your love for the chickens?
No. Love chicken.
It's just pretty straightforward.
It's that straightforward. I love
Okay.
it.
I just, for some reason, I associate you with those chickens.
So, and by the way, too, when my girlfriend broke up with me, actually, Haagen-Dazs was a big part of my diet. Don't tell anyone. That's our little secret.
Okay.
Our secret. Remember
So
that?
she just came with the Haagen-Dazs.
Yep.
That was the situation, and now it's just done
Yeah, it's
on
done.
all fronts.
It's done.
Okay.
I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was thinking about this kind of from my standpoint as a trainer, and one thing I'd like to tell my clients, which a lot of them are slightly older than Jonas, so there's a little bit different kind of dynamic that they have, but I say to think about different drinks have different calories. So you could get a margarita and that's gonna have more calories than a beer. You know, wine has more sugar than things like vodka. So there is a little bit of strategy that you can do with that. Do you have a particular drink that you tend to go toward?
Usually I'm a Jack and Coke guy. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie, I'm a lightweight, so I like to especially take care of how much alcohol I'm intaking.
Right.
And try to drink responsibly. And I know my limit. Once I get to that limit, I kind of cease all activities and consume water.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big thing that people don't always do is just get a water and at least pace yourself that way too, where you can maybe alternate the drink with the water, with the drink. But be mindful of which drinks have more calories. If you have a favorite and you're not sure, look it up. The information's all available online. And then as far as food goes, when you are drinking, your body is in a state where it's going to be absorbing the fat that you're consuming and actually storing it in your body, because the body has preference to burn off the alcohol calories before the food. So if you are going to indulge in some drinks, you're better off eating as light as possible while you're doing that. Obviously that can take some self-control, because sometimes when people start drinking, that opens the floodgates to the food. So I think what he does is smart, is he just kind of stays away from the food when he's drinking, which is not a bad idea. But you can definitely just try to eat light while you're drinking, and that's gonna really help to prevent some of the unwanted fat gain that you could have. And then another point that he had said about being active offsetting it, it is important to be aware of the fact that when you know, anything that you take in, alcohol, food, sugar, whatever it is, you're going to have to worry about the fact that, yeah, you do have to burn that off. So I'm not saying you can't do it, but you have to be aware it's just like your bank account. If you only have so much money in the account, you can only spend so much.
Exactly.
And if you only have so many calories you can take in without gaining weight, you've got to use them smart and only have the calories you really want and not things that you could have skipped, so that your overall budget doesn't get out of hand. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I don't know if you do or not, but is the cheat day idea. Some people will do like a day where they kind of don't worry about what they're eating. So is that something you've ever really done, or do you just every single day you're like on it?
No, typically, I mean, every day I'm usually on it. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, I don't get the whole idea of a cheat day, because you're trying to transform your body. Why are you gonna break away from that goal? To me, it makes no sense. So when I gradually got into working out, I cut cheat days out.
Well, you know what? I feel just like you, so.
Let's go. Teamwork.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. I'll do some poses for them.